Hey everybody, my name is Paul Lesden Jr., aka Boy Green. Excuse me, and welcome to the Jet Zone. It's a weekly podcast talking all things New York Jets. We've been doing it for the last decade or so. Thanks for stopping by if you're new, and if you're a returning customer, make sure you get your ticket punched on the way in. We appreciate that. As well. We got a super fun show for you guys today. We're going to be coming off the NFL owners meeting, so we've got Joe Douglas pressers to react to. We've got Robert Saleh pressers to react to, and so much more. We got so much on the docket, and why I believe now is the time to make a trade. And we have a couple scenarios we'll throw out there. No matter where you're watching, we're streaming live simultaneously right now on the Facebook page for the Jet Zone, on the Twitter page for the Jet Zone, and of course live on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/boygreen25. And if you can please do me this solid. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel, which is the video stream you're seeing right now, regardless of where you're watching, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter. Take a moment, hop on over to YouTube. Again, youtube.com/boygreen25. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And if you're a real diehard fan, you can join the Boy Green Super Fan Club, which is a brand new thing we just came up with on YouTube. And, membership, live streams, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you'd like to join that, you can as well. What is happening for free, of course, is wherever you're watching, make sure you drop in a question or topic you'd like to see covered here on the show. Again, we're going to be talking about a whole lot of action, and we'll get interactive with you guys today here on the show. First off, a little bit of history making. Normally I'm wearing a Jets cap. I'm a Jets hat guy. You can't quite see it. It's over here in the hallway, but I'm a big Jets cap guy, which, by the way, the 2022 New York Jets draft hat is out, and I get that religiously every year. I know people make fun of it left and right, but I love the draft hat. And I've got all kinds of Jet hats all the way over there. But this is the first time I've done a show without a hat. I just got this haircut and, I'm trying to show it off, do a weird flex and whatnot. But I'm normally a Jets hat guy. So check this one off the bucket list. No hat today, but got the nice Jets shirt. And by the way, weird thing here. I knew this Jets employee. I got a great deal last year. It was in the middle of COVID. He sent me a box of Jet stuff. He used to work for the team. Got some cool team official Jet stuff. So that's pretty cool. So I'll be sprinkling that in through some of these live streams. But anywho, let's dive over to some of the comments before we get started. NY Jets fan 4, what's up, baby? What's popping? Keep it simple, RC. Nice shirt again. Very nice. Where is it? Over here? Yep, the Nike official. I don't even know where I'm pointing because it's in reverse, but the nice Jet shirt, very nice. So I do like that. That is fantastic. So thank you so much, guys. There are a few things I do want to get to right off the top here on the show. And like I said, throughout today's show, feel free to drop in, just like NYJ Jets fan, Keep It Simple RC on YouTube. You can do it on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Wherever you drop your comments, the advancements of technology keeps it all together for me in a beautiful place, so it's all connected, so I can interact with all of you here. And feel free, you can also super chat, where I will immediately see your comment and we'll jump to the top of the pile. You can do that on YouTube. One of the big things I do want to talk about is from earlier this week, where Robert Saleh spoke to the media at the NFL owners meetings down in Florida, and he announced that Elijah Vera-Tucker is going to be flipping from left guard to right guard. Now, if you remember, Elijah Vera-Tucker coming out of USC had a lot of experience, both at left tackle, the guard spots. Again, he could play all over the line, which is great. And I guess we're going to find out immediately whether or not he is as versatile as his film and versatile as his profile suggests. And Elijah will be jumping over to right guard, because initially when Laken Tomlinson was signed, he has predominantly played left guard in the NFL. He has some right guard experience in college, but predominantly he's been a left guard. And basically what Robert Saleh said at the NFL owners meetings is, well, you know what? Laken Tomlinson is a Pro Bowler. He's got a proven track record. We really don't want to, quote, mess with that. So they are going to flip the youngster, Elijah Vera-Tucker, over to right guard. Now, I understand why the Jets decided to make this decision. And remember, even back when the Jets originally drafted Elijah Vera-Tucker, Joe Douglas came out and said that he's versatile, and he wouldn't even guarantee he was going to start at left guard, although that's where a lot of us projected him to be, that he could kind of go anywhere on the line. Now, here's the thing that I kind of don't like, because, again, I think there is a bit of a risk factor here, is that Elijah Vera-Tucker, he looked good last year. He played 16 games at left guard last year and looked good. Why jeopardize his development? And if you were willing to move and groove, why didn't you simply just go out and get a right guard specific guy in free agency? And there were plenty of those guys out there. The fact that the Jets, again, somewhat went out of their way here to bring in a pure left guard in Laken Tomlinson and force a youngster to move over. Again, maybe it all work out in this musical chairs of offensive line, but I like where the young kid was at. I like the arrow was pointing in the right direction, and now he's going to have to flip. And to explain it in the best possible way that I can, I had Damian Woody flex. I had Damian Woody flex on the show. You could check out that video on my Mock Draft Monday show, which is on my YouTube channel. You can hop over to the playlist Path to the 2022 NFL Draft. When I asked Damian, because I'm just some nobody, I don't know, I'm a podcast host, Jets fan all over the place. I have no idea what it's like to move from left guard to right guard. And Madden, we do it all the time, right? We draft the best offensive lineman or sign the best offensive lineman for agency, and then we just throw them left tackle, right tackle, center, left guard. Like, we don't know. There's no ripple effects. There's no ramifications for moving a guy all over the offensive line. But really, how it was described to me by Damian Woody, which, again, you can check out that full interview on my Path to the 2022 NFL Draft playlist on my YouTube channel. He said it's the equivalent of doing things opposite. For instance, I am a right-handed guy, and to be honest, I don't even write that good right-handed. So I could only imagine what it would look left-handed. But that's what Damian Woody described it to me. It's like doing something your entire life, then flipping it. It's not that easy. It takes an adjustment period. So the fact of the matter is, all of a sudden, Elijah Vera-Tucker is now going to have to be doing things inverted. So instead of working on the intricacies of his craft, he has to learn basically everything in reverse. And to me, I think that is a little bit risky. Something's quite unnecessary, quite frankly, because I think you could have gotten a pure right guard in free agency. I like Laken Tomlinson. I like the durability. There's a lot to like. But to me, I feel like that was somewhat unnecessary. But the Jets have a plan. And I just feel like there's a fear to me that could stunt his development. And even if there's an inkling of a fear, just a little itsy-bitsy little nugget, then I don't want to do it. I don't want to risk it. ABT looks good. Why would I force him to learn something else? Again, this is the thing with Zach Wilson and why continuity on offense is important, right? So Zach Wilson heading into year 2, he is going to get a second year not to just learn the offense and learn where the heck the bathroom is on one Jets drive. He's going to be able to learn the intricacies of the offense and get that recall that Robert Saleh was talking about. If a brand new offensive coordinator came in, then he can't worry about any of that. He's got to learn a brand new offense. So again, to me, it seems a little unnecessary. We will see. I'm not trying to, make something out of nothing here, but that's just kind of me on some of that action. So again, just something that kind of revs my engine there as well. From again the Robert Saleh portion of the press conference, but that was a nice little interesting nugget that raised a lot happening there as well. Let's get to some more comments here, and I'll keep, like I said, I'm going to bounce between Robert Saleh takeaways, Joe Douglas takeaways, and the trade market, which I think is juicy, delectable, that I think the Jets should find their way into. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Let's see. Keep it simple, RC. What's the latest on the trade market? We'll get to that in a little bit, both in draft world and other worlds. We'll get into that in a little bit, so hold on tight. Keep it simple, RC. Is there a DK in the Jets' future? All right, I was going to wait, but let's just dive into it. Here's the thing. The Jets have been doing their homework. There's a couple of interesting nuggets to keep in mind here. First off, Rich Cimini of ESPN said on the Michael Kay show yesterday that don't be shocked, basically, if the Jets make another splash at wide receiver. They're doing their homework. They're waiting on the sideline, basically, for all hell to break loose, like the Tyreek Hill situation where a trade just all of a sudden became available. And they said, well, we're ready to go. They got the financials, they got the draft assets, and they're ready to go. Okay? Rich Cimini says, hey, look out. Connor Hughes, same thing. Hey, guys, they're looking. There are 3 wide receivers that were brought up over the last week, and including from Rich Cimini in his Sunday morning column. That is A.J. Brown of the Tennessee Titans. That is DK Metcalf of the Seattle Seahawks, and Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Deebo Samuel thing seems kind of crazy. He is their entire offense. I imagine, once they move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, money will be available that they could use on Deebo Samuel. But again, these are crazy times, people, crazy times. And crazy times where wide receivers are getting absolutely wild, funny money, which we'll get into in a second on DK Metcalf's contract demands and things of that nature. However, I think out of those 3, Again, I like them all. Hey, first of all, I'll take any of them. Thank you very much. But the one that I think is the most realistic, the most likely, and quite frankly, one way or another, whether on the Jets or somewhere else, I think DK Metcalf is the receiver that could be moved. Couple of reasons why. First off, again, while the Seattle Seahawks technically have the money, it seemed like their general manager, Mr. Schneider, was a little hesitant, to say the least, on throwing around the funny money it will require. Okay. Now, the funny money in the wide receiver market right now is Tyreek Hill's getting paid $30 million a year. Number one in the league. Number two, Devontae Adams is getting $28 million per year. And number three, DeAndre Hopkins, $27.5 million. According to Rich Cimini, DK Metcalf is looking for a new deal that will pay him at least $25 million per year, which immediately would put him as the fourth highest paid wide receiver minimum in the NFL. And is he the fourth best wide receiver in the NFL? No. But sometimes you just got to risk it to get the biscuit. And obviously the Jets were willing to do that same deal for Tyreek Hill. So they're willing to pay the money. They're willing to get the cash, the cold moolah, to make a deal happen. To me, out of all of them, first off, I think that's most realistic because, again, I think Seattle has shown some hesitancy, obviously, in paying him. Also, they're in the middle of a potential rebuild here. They just got rid of Russell Wilson. They brought in Drew Lock, and that guy sucks. Yeah, I mean, he's trash. Has anyone seen any Broncos games? Drew Lock sucks. Okay, so not very good. So they don't really have a plan at quarterback. And do you really want to be throwing around $25+ million a year for a wide receiver? Maybe they do. He's young enough. He's a young 24, turned 24 in December. But you know what? If the Jets give the right offer, I think, okay, Seattle can use those picks to accelerate their rebuild, and the Jets get their wide receiver. So the age I like. I like the fit in the offense, quite frankly. I think the size is tremendous. 6'4", 230. He's got some Brutus beefcake. Okay. I love the speed, 4'3", and I think he complemented Elijah Moore well, and they're former Ole Miss teammates, for Pete's sake. So is there a DK in the near future? I think there is. I think DK is going to be traded somewhere. That's my take on everything, and I think he will be traded. It makes the most sense ahead of the 2022 NFL draft, and if I'm the Jets, I'm willing to chat. Now, for me, and we're talking about this trade stuff here, the Tyreek Hill package the Jets had the Chiefs agree to was 35, 38, and 69. They also got a later third-round pick as well that was just right outside the top 100 with a compensatory and all that jazz. So they would have had to give up 2 2s, a 3 in exchange for Tyreek Hill and a 3. Now, that's the kind of package I'd be willing to give up for DK. Now, 10th overall? I don't know. I get a little, that seems rich. Now, if maybe there's some way we can make up the difference. Now, obviously, it would be absolutely hilarious if the Jets sent number 10, which was Seattle's pick anyway, back to the Seahawks for DK Metcalf. Because think about it. That means essentially the Jets traded Jamal Adams for Elijah Vera-Tucker and DK Metcalf. LOL. That would be funny. Even though I think 10's a little rich, it would make the Jets think twice, but that would be funny. And maybe that would just be worth the joke in itself. So is there DK in the Jets' future? I am hoping, I am projecting, I am praying that it could happen because he's the one wide receiver I really want. If that answers your question, keep it simple, RC. Doesn't sound like Douglas is looking for a wide receiver high on day one. Now, if you look at the breadcrumbs, obviously you see, wow, he chased after Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods. Like they were doing their homework on all these guys. So I think to the point I've been making on this gosh darn show for weeks, I think the Jets want a high floor veteran wide receiver. Veteran, the term could be used and interpreted loosely, but a wide receiver that can come in and you just know what he is. There's no guesswork. There's no speculation. You know the kind of player they are. And I think that's what intrigues Joe Douglas because, again, then you don't have to guess. Zach Wilson knows, booyah, I got DK or whoever the guy is. So we will see. I think, though, the pivot would be, I mean, it would be interesting if the Jets just don't, they miss out on the wide receivers and they don't take a wide receiver in the first round. That would be stunning. I still think the absolute worst case scenario, worst case, again, relatively speaking, is I think you take a wide receiver at 10, whoever your flavor is. And we'll get into one guy that I think is the dark horse of the draft, but Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, whoever your guy is, I think that could be happening. And I guess we'll just work it in just because it's kind of the nature of the beast. I think the dark horse at number 10 for the Jets is Jameson Williams of Alabama. I tweeted it out yesterday. Leger Douzable, Connor Rogers, Steve Gelbs did the SNY TV Jets draft plan show, and they were talking about Jameson Williams. And again, to me, this is just a little thing in the back of my head, and I see there's a lot of buzz about it. Excuse me, this morning after Adam Schefter tweeted out the video. The Alabama Pro Days today, Jameson isn't participating, but you sent out this video of him kind of running around and looking good and whatnot. So I guess great timing, Paul, on the tweet. Pat myself on the back for that one. I'm normally on the injury report for limp wrist, for patting myself on the back. Do it every day, baby. But anywho, I think Jameson Williams is the dark horse for the Jets because he is the most Tyreek Hill-ish receiver in this class. And if that's what they're looking for, every team has a type. Every guy has a type, right? Tall, short, medium, this, that, this hair, this, that, whatever the case may be. I think the same thing for teams. I think they got types, and the type could be Tyreek Hill-ish, again, with the speed and the dynamic playmaking ability. It could be Jameson Williams. Now, again, taking a guy coming off a torn ligament in his knee as recent as a college football playoff may scare some teams, and maybe the Jets don't. But if they do take that direction, I imagine them maybe double dipping. You get like a Jameson Williams, get another receiver in the mid rounds who can help out in the intermediate, and then when Jameson is purely ready, there's some thoughts he could be ready by training camp. We'll see. I think he's the dark horse, people. The dark horse to be the 10th overall pick. When that name gets called, look back and go, Boy Green did say something about that on March 30th. You bet your cheeks I did, baby. So keep that in mind. Remember I said it. Let's keep going through some comments here. It's Snoopy. I agree, Paul. I hope they don't stun AVT's growth. Snoopy, I'm telling you, man, I think that is the one concern for me that kind of makes me feel a little heebie-jeebie. Okay? AVT looked good. Why mess with a good thing? I think my mama told me once, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know. Tried and true. Tried and true. Keep it simple, RC. How was Douglas supposed to know they'd have Tomlinson a year after taking AVT? Now, I want to just address this from this standpoint. Keep it simple, RC. I'm not saying that, they put AVT at left guard, whatever, because that's just, that was the obvious hole in the line. But I'm saying you had AVT before you made the Tomlinson choice. It wasn't reverse. It wasn't you got Tomlinson first and then you got AVT. You had AVT first. So I'm saying you could have went in for agency and said, okay, we got our left guard. Let's look for a right guard. And Tomlinson obviously showed some level of hesitation when he did his interview with the media. He said, when we said, oh, man, so you're flipping over to right guard, right? It's like, we still have to talk about that. And that didn't really raise a lot of eyebrows because a lot of us said, oh, of course he's switching over, but he didn't. So it's not so much on that. To me, if you got a natural right guard, then there's no flipping, flopping. Everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, Joe Douglas is super smart, and he's a good guy. He's an offensive line guy. And obviously, Elijah Vera-Tucker is super versatile. Look at his tape. Everything from college. He's played left tackle. He's played left guard. He's played right guard. He has all kinds of experience. So if anyone could do it, it's AVT. But I just feel like it was an unnecessary extra thing to do. If you just would have got a right guard naturally, then we wouldn't even be talking about this. Matthias, Boy Green. Yes, sir. How are you? How are you, baby? Welcome to the show. Charles M. on YouTube. Curious to see if Jake London falls, if he has a high 40 time. Is that Drake London's lost brother? I can only imagine Drake London is who you were talking about. There's potential, but, like, for instance, Traylon Burks, he's a guy that I think is going to fall a little bit, have a little bit of a slip and slide because of some of the athletic testing numbers not being quite what they will be. But Drake London will be interesting because, people talked about him as 6'4", technically he's 6'3" and 7'8". So the size, I think actually USC on their website had him listed at 6'5". So you can imagine the disappointment when he was actually 6'3". We will see on the pro day numbers. Normally, though, in my experience, I've covered a lot of pro days here locally for Syracuse. Normally, the pro day numbers are fudged in your favor, not the other way around. Although I think the Notre Dame numbers had like Kyle Hamilton running a 4.7, and I can't remember the combine. I thought it was like a 4.5 or 4.6 or something. So normally the pro day numbers are supposed to help you. For instance, a receiver that always jumps out to me that I covered was Abed Atawo, the former Maryland receiver who transferred over to Syracuse. He ran like a 4.49 at the combine, and then at the pro day he ran a 4.3, and we went, did he? So the pro day numbers are normally fudged in your favor. So we will see ultimately with that. But I love Drake London. He is one of my favorite wide receivers. Let's go to Mikey. Just subbed. Love the hats. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. And that's a healthy reminder. If any of you are watching or new to the channel, hit the thumbs up button on the YouTube video and hit subscribe. New York Jets content all day, every day, baby. And I would highly recommend checking out my Mock Draft Monday series. Every Monday, I drop a brand new episode. Here are just some of the guests that have joined as I flex and talk about, all the cool things going on. We've had, this week, we had Leger Douzable, 10-year NFL veteran, former Jets player. We've had Connor Hughes of The Athletic. We've had Connor Rogers of Bleacher Report. We've had Trevor Sikkema of Pro Football Focus. I mean, we've had a litany of guests, and we're going to continue to have these guests all the way through the NFL draft. I got another big-time guest scheduled for this week's episode, so make sure you guys check them all out. We got so many cool guests. I love bringing on big-time guests so you Jet fans get the best possible content possible. So make sure you check it out. So any subscriptions would be great. We're trying to get to 2,000 by the NFL draft. My original goal was 1,000, and we already smashed that to smithereens. So we got 1,000 a couple weeks ago. So now we're going for 2K. Can you help me get there? Tell a friend. Make sure you subscribe again. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Jets content all day, every day. So let's see if we can get to 2K, baby. 2K. That's what we're looking for. And thank you, Mikey. Thanks for joining the family, brother. It's going to be a lot of fun. Keep it simple, RC. Penei Sewell never played right tackle before Detroit stuck him over there. A little rocky at first, but he picked it up. Again, I'm not trying to say AVT is going to now be a bust and suck. But to the Penei Sewell point, and I made all of these points last year in terms of, the Jets possibly bringing him in and flipping him to the other side. I just feel like, it's a risk. That's the point. The point is it's a risk, and you didn't necessarily have to take the risk, but it is what it is. We will see how it works out. And again, if anyone can do it, Elijah Vera-Tucker can do that. Jets gang, line switch Sewell back and forth during the season. ABT should be good. I hope so. He's great. Keep it simple, RC. Boy Green, stop trying to make me smile. I try to do that for everybody because my kind of mindset on life, is, and I've talked about this before, you don't get to pick the hand that you're dealt, okay? Whether it's a shitty situation or a crappy day at work, like you can't handle any of that. I don't get to pick how other people come into my life, but what I can control is how I feel, how I attack the day, how I see things. And I try to always be a glass half full guy. If I can control my own energy, my own feelings about things, and making sure I always try to take things in stride, I think that energy is infectious. So I think you guys should all take that little page out of the old PSA playbook and try to be there for your friends and family and everything and try to control the controllables, as they say. And that's what I try to do. So I appreciate that. Let's see here. Matt Morris on YouTube, cap going up plus add in inflation opportunities, if not scared. 100%. And obviously the contract is kind of set in a way, the contracts, that Joe Douglas signed that leaves an opportunity to be had this year, if so. Let's see. Oh boy, it's Snoopy. I'm glad he brought this up. Hopefully KC does not steal DK. From everything we're hearing from Diana Rossini, the Chiefs, after losing Tyreek Hill in a massive trade to the Miami Dolphins, they're apparently doing some homework on available superstar wide receivers. And obviously, that's quite a pitch to play with Patrick Mahomes and the hot Kansas City Chiefs and all that jazz. But so hopefully not. But speaking of KC, beautiful segue at Snoopy. I just released an article today about a potential blockbuster trade between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets. Now, again, the Tyreek Hill thing didn't work out. It was cool for whatever that hour and a half we thought we were going to get him. Because before that, obviously, none of us knew that was even possible. But I will tell you this, there is still a trade to be had if you are the New York Jets. And I saw this at a CBS Sports mock draft, so I brought it over. So again, guys, for those who don't know, on top of me and Boy Green, the fan, I'm also the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And what does that funky title mean? Well, not only do I do podcasts and video shows and all kinds of other stuff, I write Jets articles every flipping day. And you can check all those out at BoyGreen25 on Twitter. And also, if you go to the Heavy on Jets Facebook community, over 16,000 Jet fans strong, get to check out our articles, jokes, memes, graphics, and all kinds of fun stuff. And I wrote this article, and it's up on Heavy on Jets. It was about that trade. And essentially what the trade was about, this was from Ryan Wilson. He works for CBS Sports. He released a mock draft, and in it, he featured this trade between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets. Here was the trade. It's a draft day trade. The Chiefs would trade up from 29 to go all the way to the number 10 overall pick. And here's who got what. The Chiefs would get the 10th overall pick, and the Jets' fifth rounder, 146 overall, in exchange for the 29th overall pick, the 30th overall pick, and the 121st overall pick. Long story short, the Chiefs give up 2 first rounders to move up to 10, and then the Jets also get basically, the equivalent of a pick swap. They kind of move up from the 5th round to the 4th round. So that's kind of how the pick swap works. Now, according to the NFL draft value chart, the Chiefs would be slightly underpaying here for this potential trade-up scenario. The Jets picks are worth 1,331.4 points, and the Chiefs picks are worth 1,312. That's a difference of 19.4 points. Who would have told you, though, that the math was a part of today's show? So get out your calculator, kids, for all this math going on. But anywho, the long and short of it is the Jets would trade back to the 29-30 range. You'd still have 35 and 38, so you'd have 5 picks inside the top 38, which is kind of interesting. But you trade back. So it's kind of an interesting scenario that we can debate and talk about. It's on my Twitter account too, so feel free to send tweets over and talk about it, because I part of the reason I write articles, to be honest with you guys, is I like having debates and conversations and raising points that maybe you didn't think about. So that's really the reason why I write articles. It's not really to break news. I do that every once in a while, which is cool. But really the reason I do it is for conversations with fellow Jet fans. To me, that's one of the coolest parts of being on the Twitter community and YouTube community and interacting with all you guys. That to me is really the cool part. So for me, a couple of things on this potential trade. There's a danger for the Jets to trade back from 10 all the way to the back end of the first round. Now, you still have number 4 overall, which, use that as you will. But, trading all the way back to the back end of the first round, you miss out on a lot of guys that could be available. Basically, you're hitting the eject button on the entire wide receiver run, because I feel like there's going to be essentially 5 wide receivers that go from anywhere from 8, where Atlanta is, all the way to like 22 with Green Bay, New England, and those teams. So if you hit the eject button all the way on that, first off, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You're hooking. So not only did you not get Tyreek Hill if you're the Jets, right? So that sucks. But then you turn around and then give the keys to the franchise to the Kansas City Chiefs to pick whatever receiver they want. Again, that kind of will make you feel a little queasy on the inside. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Regardless of the pick combinations we get. But it also would present an interesting scenario, because think about it. So you get 4th overall. Again, I'm a Kayvon Thibodeau guy. I've been that guy for months. I remain that guy. But if you trade back from 10, you got 29, you got 30, you got 35 and 38. Woo-wee, there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of opportunities there to make some hay. Now, the other thing I would say on top of this deal, as we're going to continue to work our way through the comments, is the thing that I would say, if I'm the Jets and I'm going to move back that far, which is obviously significant, I probably want a 2023 juicy pick, maybe a first rounder, maybe a second round. I want something high, because to make that kind of trade back is going to cost you. And again, already the Chiefs making this deal would be somewhat underpaid. Again, if you want to know what I'm talking about, head on over to heavy.com and go over to the Jets tab, or simply go to Facebook, Heavy on Jets, so you can read the article as I'm kind of talking here, if that will help you visualize what I mean. But however, there's a lot of conversations to be had about trading back, and I think the Jets really do want to trade back. Ralph Facciano of SNY reported it months ago. So again, that could be an interesting one to kind of consider. And then the Jets could attack a lot of different areas. Again, 5 picks in the top 38 would be pretty good. Charles M., best Jets channel on YouTube. Thank you. And I will say we've got so many wonderful content creators. Matt O'Leary, Green Bean, Jake Asman. There's so many. I'm going to forget someone, unfortunately. Jets Talk 24/7. There's so many great ones, and we have a great community for all you fans. So hopefully you guys get whatever flavor that interests you. But I love all the fans that obviously stop by our channel here for all the love. I try to bring energy, chutzpah, and, of course, great interaction and some cool guests as well. Keep it simple, RC. JD is too savvy a trader to give up 10 for DK. He can sell ice to ice in an ice storm. That's phenomenal. And to me, here's how I feel. Again, in a perfect world, for me, I think 10 is too rich. I feel like, here's the thing. So if Tyreek Hill went for 35, 38, and 69, while I get it, he's older, but he's also more proven. Like, he is considered one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. and he didn't go for a first rounder in the Jets scenario. So why would I give up more for DK? While younger, yes, 24, there's an age gap there, but I'm also paying for less experience. I'm paying for less proven. And when you look at the numbers for DK, they're good, but they're not Tyreek Hill good. Like, so why would I pay more if I don't have to? So I get it, keep it simple, RC. But if it's against a pickle in a hard place and the 10th overall could get them over the hump, then I'm like, okay, can Seattle flip me another pick back, a third rounder or something? Maybe make me feel a little bit better about the situation. For me, I think 10's too rich. But if you really put me over the barrel, maybe in the right light, if I'm squinting, I would do it for DK. Because again, you just create so much flexibility with your other picks. In a perfect scenario, like I said before, 35, 38, 69, whatever combination that is. And then 4 and 10, it's Sauce Gardner and Kayvon Thibodeaux, baby. That would be a dream draft for the Jets. You double dip on defense, you figure out wide receiver without using a first-round pick, and ooh-wee, we are cooking, baby. We're cooking with hot fire. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. We'll see. Joe Douglas has been phenomenal so far. Charles M., if the Jets sign DK, I'm going to paint myself green and run naked around the block. Charles M., slap our cheeks together and I'm with you, brother. I will get that Jets jersey yesterday. I will do whatever you guys want me to do. If they get DK Metcalf, baby, I will be so elated, so excited. A 24-year-old superstar at wide receiver. Zach Wilson, that yummy toy. Oh, baby. That'd be nice. Hawk, if DK gets traded to the Jets, I'm buying a Metcalf jersey before he even touches down in New Jersey, LOL. Same, Hawk. We're 100%. As soon as that news comes in from Schefter, I'm jumping over to NFLshop.com, custom shop. Who cares? I don't care. I'm doing whatever necessary. That Metcalf jersey would be nice because, of course, as part of any DK Metcalf trade, you're immediately handing that dude the bag. So his future will be secure with the Jets. Okay, let's see. Matt Morris, DK and pick 9 for pick 4 and one of the second-round picks. That could be an interesting combination if they want to move and groove. I'd be interested because I think the 9-4 jump could allow them to go get their quarterback if they're diving into those waters. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, whoever is your guy. Or they could fill the edge rusher hole. So, again, so many combinations. I'd be all for that. Let's see. Hawk, AVT played both guard and tackle in college, which is 100% true. Lakin will make him better in this scheme. I really do. And think about whatever the combinations are going to be. Is Mekhi Becton playing left? Is he playing right? Is AVT and Becton the same, just both flipped? That'd be kind of interesting. A lot of combinations, a lot of choices here for the New York Jets. Richie B, with the Broncos having signed Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick, wide receiver, and paying Russ, do you see Douglas sending picks 35 and 38 for Jerry Jeudy? I mean, that would probably be a bit rich for me, for Jeudy, because DK is more proven. DK is a guy I'd be one. Jerry Jeudy, he's again younger, which again is the kicker, but I don't think there's been enough chutzpah there. I like Jerry Jeudy. I think there's a lot of potential. Phenomenal route runner. Would be a good guy. I'd be interested in what the package is. But you're right. The Broncos have paid Sutton. They've paid Patrick. I think a real big, motivational factor for a potential Jerry Jeudy trade has been, oh, wait, the Broncos will get Devontae Adams too. And obviously that didn't happen. He went to the Raiders instead. But I'd be interested. I love Jeudy. I loved him coming out of that class. CeeDee Lamb was my wide receiver 1. Jeudy was 2. And then Ruggs was 3. But I'd be interested in talking. Jeudy would be sexy. He's not number 1 on my list. I love DK way more, but I'd be very interested by Jeudy. He'd be interesting. I think 35 and 38 is too rich, though, for me. Yeah, which is insert eye emojis. Again, perfect tweet time by Boy Green. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at BoyGreen25. Last night, I tweeted out a Jameson Williams video. Could be a dark horse for the Jets. And people are like, he's a bum. He's injured, right? And then today, Adam Schefter tweets out the video. Again, is Paul just a superstar or is he just a superstar? I mean, come on, people. Come on. I mean, what's happening here? But already running here makes you go, maybe. Again, he's the most Tyreek Hill-ish receiver that is available. So I just think that, anything can happen. When is one of these Jets YouTubers going to go all in and get to the draft? Matt, I got to tell you, for folks who don't know, and there's a lot of new subscribers to the channel. We've had a huge uptick. So again, thank you to all the new subscribers and people who are subscribing now. I love you to death. You're going to learn more about me, and which is going to be really cool to meet and learn all of you. Because as you continue to comment, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, it's Snoopy. He's here all the time. Richie B and all these other people that are becoming more familiar with the brand. I am a diehard fan of the draft. I mean, as diehard as you get, like nerd draft fan. That's me. And going to the draft is on my bucket list. So I want to go to the draft so bad. I mean, it is up there with one of the things I want to do before I die. That's how important the draft is. So, boy, I hope the right situation presents itself. I work, obviously, at heavy.com. So hopefully they send me one of these years. I would just love to go to the draft. The draft is so cool. And all the exclusive insight, getting to run around with prospects. Because, for folks who don't know, like the draft takes over the city they're in now that it's kind of a moving circus. I used to love the prestige of Radio City Music Hall, but, it's cool that it's traveling like Chicago and Philly and all these places, Vegas now. Like they take over the city, and you can bring your family, and there's like a fan event, and then there's the draft. Again, I really want to go. So I don't know who is going to be the first one if no one's gone yet, but I want to go, baby. I want to go so bad. Mike G on YouTube. Do you see a scenario where we pick a wide receiver later in the first round if we miss on the position on our first 2 picks? Oh, like trade back up, maybe. I'm assuming is what you're talking about. 100%. There could be a scenario. Again, there's so many, which makes this juicy, right? At 4, I'd go like edge, so KT. At 10, you go maybe corner, like Sauce Gardner, to try to play out your scenario. And then a guy slips. There are a couple of guys that I could really see slipping. 2 guys stand out to me. Traylon Burks out of Arkansas, who I love, is going to slip, I believe, because of the athletic testing numbers. They weren't as great as people thought, both at the pro day and the combine. So there's a realistic possibility he starts to slip and slide down the board. And if he falls into that, 20s range, late teens or something, and the Jets go, you know what, let's just go get our receiver. Another guy is Jameson Williams, who got injured in the college football playoff, the Alabama wide receiver, super fast, dynamic, and all that lovely action. He's fantastic. And maybe if he starts to slide, the Jets go, screw it, let's go up and go get a 3rd first rounder. That is a very viable scenario. Strong possibility, extremely likely, especially obviously if they're not able to trade for a proven wide receiver. So Mike G, great comment, very possible. Let's see. And it's Snoopy, that proposed trade is very meh. And I'm going to be honest, for the most part, I've had a lot of clapback on that trade. A lot of people said, you're getting too cute, Paul. That's crazy. Like, just stay at your pick if you're going to do that kind of stuff. And again, I am all for all those people because, again, it's a very fair, your response, Snoopy, and others, it's a very fair take to have about that as well. So it's a very fair take. And keep it simple, RC. Another reminder, everybody, everyone jumping in, go over to YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Makes a huge difference. Tremendous, massive difference if you hit that thumbs up button on the video on YouTube. So make sure you do. And if you like pressing buttons, because I'm a people pleaser, hit that subscribe button as well. It's just down there right now on YouTube, the big red button. Hit subscribe for more cool Jets content, live streams, awesome guests, and cool videos, all that fun stuff. And we're a community, people. We're all in this together. So make sure you do that. So a healthy reminder there from Keep It Simple RC. Matthias, I post all your articles on my page. Radical, bro. Appreciate the support. Keep them coming, baby. Keep them coming. Let's see. Matt Morris. A Denzel Mims trade? Sure. Seattle, you want Denzel Mims? Let's talk. Hit the celly. Hit the phone. The phone's right here. It's plugged in. I'm fully charged. So hit the phone, baby. If you want to get Denzel Mims action, which is really sad, kind of, quite frankly, how that's kind of played out. But nonetheless, that's great. JJ, seems like they're set on taking an edge rusher at 4. Yep, but is it worth it to take one if Thibs and Hutch are gone? I think it's a reach if it's any other edge, but those 2, I'm taking Gardner if that's the case. Yeah, so let's play out the scenario. Obviously, there are 3 teams ahead of the Jets: the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have the Detroit Lions, and the Houston Texans. I don't think there's a scenario realistically in my mind. Again, I could be flabbergasted. It's happened before where Hutch and Thibodeau are gone. I'm hearing a lot of Trayvon Walker buzz, who I hate, by the way. Not as a person. I'm sure he's a great guy, but do not want him for the Jets. Hell no. No, thank you. On Trayvon Walker, I think he's a great run stuffer and questionable pass rusher. I just, no thanks. That Jets have drafted those guys before. No, thank you. So I do not want him. But I'm hearing a lot of buzz about him going. And they got Kyle Hamilton. They got Ike Ekwonu. You got Evan Neal. I just think there's some combination where one of those guys are going to be there. My favorite personal is Kayvon Thibodeau. He's my favorite. So he's the guy I want. But in your scenario, let's just say, so Thibodeau and Hutch are gone. I don't think you force Edge. I think if Thibodeau and Hutchinson are gone, then some combination of Evan Neal, Ike Ekwonu, someone else is there that you're going to like. And to me, I think there's a love fascination between the Jets and Ike Ekwonu. I know that pisses a lot of Jet fans off because they're like, too many offensive linemen. But I think there is a real love there. But if it was Edge, I'm probably going Sauce Gardner in that scenario if you don't go offensive line because, again, I'm not a big fan of Jermaine Johnson. Connor Rogers is, Leger Douzable is, Trevor Sikkema. A couple guys have joined my channel. Again, flex on them, that have been on the channel. But I'm not as big. He's a little bit older. I don't know. There's something that just rubs me the wrong way about Jermaine. I can grow to love anybody that the Jets draft, but he's the one that kind of gets me. So Sauce Gardner would probably be my pick in that scenario at 4. I agree. I think he's a baller. Home Slice 1998. Boy Green, you finally got a new camera. Hope you're doing well, brother. I absolutely am. Thanks for hopping by. Yet my beautiful fiance. She is fantastic. When I started this YouTube channel, which, by the way, horrible timing. I started this YouTube channel like right during the Adam Gase 2020 season. I started the channel to try to do like pre and post game shows. I thought that could be cool for the fans. And while it was fun to do the channel, there wasn't a lot of games to talk about for wins, but, it was fun to do the show with the fans and stuff. But I picked a horrible time, apparently, to start. And I had some crappy computer camera, the camera that came with the crappy computer. And I got to tell you, it was not great. However, my fiance believed in me and brought me this brand new Logitech camera that you're seeing right here. Well, you don't see it, but I see it. It's phenomenal. She also inspired me to buy this brand new computer, which we're doing the show off of because my work with the Heavy on Jets has gone so well. So it's really cool. So Home Slice, thank you so much. And yes, things are going great. We have our first super chat, I see. So let me bring this up. 1 second here, everybody. Let me pull up the super chat. Ed Vargas, baby. Hey, Paul, love your show. Been a fan for many years. Are we trading back into the first round for wide receiver 1? Thanks, my friend. I just want to throw this out to everybody. Again, any support you could show for the channel, not just thumbs up and subscriptions, but what he's doing right now is called a super chat. That's where you can throw me a tip and your question surges to the top of the pile and you guarantee to get your question answered. And obviously it shows great support for the channel and everything we're doing here to get guests and production value and all this wonderful stuff. So Ed, thank you, man. That means I love when people show support like this. So been a fan for years. So love it, Ed. That's awesome. And I love the OGs. So people have been around forever and then they're like, hey, man, I was here the whole time. And I love it. So Ed, that's phenomenal. Are we trading back into the first round for wide receiver 1? And thanks, my friend. Ed, thank you so much for jumping in with the super chat. First off, I think that is a 100% legitimate possibility. Again, I think the Jets want a high floor vet. Again, that's why they looked at Amari Cooper. That's why they looked at Robert Woods, Calvin Ridley, Tyreek Hill, because those guys, exactly what they are. Exactly what they bring to the table. So those kind of guys are fantastic. But in terms of trading back into round 1, there are guys that I find, again, Jameson Williams I brought up earlier, Treylon Burks is another potential guy. And again, if the wide receiver run gets crazy and other guys like Christian Watson or Jahan Dotson maybe could be in that range, I just feel like the Jets it won't just be the back end of round 1. I think they'd be willing to go even higher, and they have the picks to be able to do so again, because remember, they've got 9 picks in this draft. 9 picks. That's a lot of opportunities to make things happen. So 100%, it is a legitimate possibility. And again, I think their main priority over the next month is to see what wide receiver shakes free. To me, DK Metcalf is the guy. Jet fans should be circling. They should be praying at their beds at night to get DK Metcalf. He's young. He's got size. He's got chutzpah. And remember, a former Ole Miss teammate with Elijah Moore. Come on, baby. What more could you ask for? Again, thank you, Ed Vargas, for the super chat. And again, for anyone who's in here, of course, ask your question no matter where it is. You can ask it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're streaming live simultaneously in all 3 places, but you guarantee your question gets asked with a super chat, just like this from Ed. So thank you so much. Okay, let me try to go back to wherever we were. It's going to be kind of random here, guys. Let's see. Keep it simple, RC. Boy Green, not sure you saw my response to Jameson Williams' tweet, currently in Twitter jail. I won't ask why, keep it simple, RC, but okay. Is he running now? Yes. Adam Schefter sent out a tweet tweet video. I believe it was from Jameson Williams' agents, where he's kind of running around and you're seeing him move and groove, which obviously is incredibly inspirational. That's great. That's a great sign because, again, remember, he got injured in the college football playoff. That was just a couple of months ago. So the fact that he's already moving around is phenomenal news. Yeah, so I did not see that response on Twitter if that's where you sent it. Also, feel free, people. Again, we're doing this live stream right now. This is a weekly New York Jets podcast. We do this every single week, and we stream live from my YouTube channel every week, but also the Jet Zone social media portals. You can also feel free to hit me up on times outside of the show at BoyGreen25 on Twitter, and I try to get to all of your responses on Twitter as well. But he is running around. He is moving around. To me, I think that changes the dynamic. I tweeted it out last night prior to kind of all the buzz this morning that's the dark horse option at number 10. Do not be surprised. He is the Tyreek Hill-ish wide receiver in this class, if there is one. And I think that's going to be good. Let's keep going here. All good. 7234. DK has that Odell personality. If things go sideways, he will pitch a fit. I've heard him have some of the issues. He did an interview with Bleacher Report talking about some of his issues. I don't know. Again, Tyreek Hill, wouldn't that have been the same thing where he's like, "Oh, Zach Wilson, you overthrew me, man. What gives?" Like sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. I think. But I think he's worked on some of those issues. I don't know the person. I've never interviewed DK Metcalf. I've only heard from Seattle people that I know. I know a couple people out there in Seattle that cover him. And to me, I think that's much ado about nothing. But and Charles, I've had so many people ask me this, and I'm thinking about it. There's been no concrete plans laid in. The couple of concrete plans I'll say to all the people that are in the chat right now, this is one of the series that I did during free agency. Every Jets free agent the Jets signed, what I did is I did a separate video interview with some expert from wherever they came from. A couple examples, right? So the Jets signed Tyler Conklin. I spoke with Adam Patrick from the Viking Age, and he gave us cool stories on who Tyler Conklin is as a person, his nickname Gronklin, and all kinds of cool fun facts so Jet fans could get to know him better. And I did that entire series for every Jets free agent. There's more to come, obviously, with like Solomon Thomas signing. We'll do another one for him. Greg Zuerlein, hey, kickers are people too. We'll do one for him. And I plan on doing that for all the draft picks as well. So as soon as the Jets, let's play out the scenario, they draft Kayvon Thibodeau with the 4th overall pick, we'll be speaking with an Oregon insider to learn more about Kayvon Thibodeau. We'll be doing that for all the draft picks. That obviously will be somewhat delayed with setting up the interviews and things of that nature. I'll try to crank them out as quickly as possible. So we'll have those. We'll have a couple of other draft videos. One I'm already planning is after the first round is over, we'll do kind of a live stream and kind of recap everything that happened. And we'll be doing a video like top players still remaining on the board because the Jets have 35 and 38, obviously, and 69 for day 2 of the draft. So we'll be talking about prospect fits and guys I like and, wow, how's this player slipping? We'll try to have some guests on during that time. But in terms of an absolute live stream, a lot of people have asked. We're thinking about it. We're seeing what we could possibly set up. So, Charles, hang on tight. No concrete plans yet there, but I've had a lot of people ask. So, it seems like people want the love. Let's see. No more 17-17. What the hell has Jerry Jeudy done to merit 2 second-round picks? I'm assuming the only reason I can't speak for the other guy, but the only thing I can assume is that, again, his original draft status is the 15th overall pick, and he's still young, merits the extra draft capital. But to me, again, there's been some injuries. There's been some inconsistencies just catching the football in general. I think 2 second-round picks to me is too rich. I don't think he lives up to the DK Metcalf territory, A.J. Brown, Debo Samuel, all these crazy guys going all over the place. I think, Jeudy would be a little cheaper than that, personally. Jeffrey, welcome to the show. Hi, how are you? Let's keep going here. Caden Smith. Boy Green, can't wait for the draft. I'm going to have to skip my youth group meeting to watch the second round of the draft, but it's the future of the Jets. Hashtag Jet up, baby. I love it. For me personally, I do a lot of different jobs. Let's see. So I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. I, of course, do this podcast every week. So that's the Jet Zone. Let's see. What else? I also work with the Syracuse Mets. They're the AAA affiliate of the New York Mets here in Syracuse. I'm a sports talk radio host Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, the Man Child Show with me, Boy Green. And I'm also the voice of a semi-professional football team, the Syracuse Strong, for any of our local listeners, the Syracuse Strong. I'm also there for. So I do a bunch of jobs, but I make sure I block out the draft every year. So I only do my podcasts and YouTube shows and things of that nature for the draft. The draft is one of my favorite things of the entire year. I kid you not. So we'll be having some cool shows. So, Caden, I'm looking forward to it, brother, and hopefully you can stay along for the ride. That'll be a lot of fun. Keep it simple, RC. Seattle's rebuilding. Can't hide it. It seems that way. It seems that way to me. It seems that way. Matthias, Boy Green, we have a good locker room. DK would be fine here. They would welcome him. And I think that's the key. Connor Hughes kind of talked about it. He talked about it on the NFL Stock Exchange podcast, another good podcast for draft fans with Connor Rogers and Trevor Sikkema over at PFF. And they had Connor Hughes on to do this guest mock series where they bring on experts to basically mock draft and mock pick for their teams. And he talked about it with Tyreek Hill, Connor Hughes, that you bring in a Tyreek Hill, who's not really a choir boy, obviously, based on his checkered past, but you just risk it. Everyone can't be this good, clean bill of health gospel guy that's always been great their entire lives. You have to have a mix in the locker room. You have to have a good foundation of good core guys, and hopefully when you bring in a DK or who obviously doesn't have anywhere near the issues that Tyreek Hill does, or anyone, that they can be absorbed into the locker room. But obviously the Jets feel confident and comfortable because they almost took in Tyreek Hill. So 100%. 100%. Let's see. Who do we got? Christian Jameson, heard on Jake Asman channel. I love Jake Asman, by the way. Another great guy to follow. A sneaky name to look out for in the draft is Jordan Davis. Do you think he could plug our hole at one tech? 100%. He could be an option. Now, how do they feel about all these guys? Because there's a combination for people with this 4-3 scheme and obviously plugging some of what Foley did. You have Quinnen, you have Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers who can play inside. You can play outside. You got Solomon Thomas, by the way, who we haven't really talked about yet on the show, but I think he's going to be more defensive tackle depth as opposed to end, although he can play both. Remember, they lost Foley Fadukase. They did bring back Nathan Shepard, but Saleh is going to be that nice defensive tackle depth in there. So Jordan Davis could be possible, but that wouldn't be one of my first choices, quite frankly. And I think he's going to go too high where he shouldn't be a pick for the Jets at 4-10, and he won't be low enough to be in that 35-38 range. So while Jordan Davis is a very good player, I just don't think they're going to match up with where the Jets are picking, when he's going to go. I just don't think that's going to happen, but he would be, Christian, to your point. That is a sneaky name for sure. Jeffrey, do you think they have to give more or less for DK? I love this question because it's complicated. Because Tyreek Hill is older, right? So he's getting a monster deal. So he's older, which you would think is, not good. But then you see he's older, which means he has a more proven track record, 6-time Pro Bowler and all kinds of wonderful video game stats, explosive plays. Ooh, good. The money, which you're going to have to do for really any of these receivers you trade for. Then flip over to DK. So he's younger. Yay! Less proven. Money. And then you try to weigh the pros and cons of that. So to me, I think it's comparable. It's hard for me to say more because Tyreek Hill is more proven. How could you possibly pay more for DK while he's younger and you're betting on upside and things? How could you tell yourself, I'm going to pay more for it? Because it's obviously going to be, we know the package. Joe Douglas has admitted it. Robert Saleh has admitted it. Adam Schefter, like that is the package. 35, 38, 69. That's the deal. So all the packages will be compared to that. If they pay more or vice versa or what have you, then we're all going to go like, wow. Now, someone just pointed out to me on Twitter, according to the draft value chart, the 35, 38, 69 is essentially the equivalent of the 10th overall pick. So if you just give up straight up 10th overall for DK, I'd be intrigued. Now, I think Joe Douglas can get him for less, but I'd be intrigued because then you would still have 4, you'd still have 35, you still have 38, and you plugged wide receiver, which was probably going to be one of those picks anyway. So, it's going to be comparable, I think. Comparable, I think, is the answer to that. Let's see. J-Mac, trade Beckham for as much as JD can get, which should be great picks and draft Icky and keep building through the draft. The draft, like the Bears. It's possible. If Icky's on the board, I believe the Jets are infatuated with Icky Ekwonu. Now, whether he'll be there is up for debate. Now, if they draft Icky Ekwonu, to me, you then immediately either have to trade Becton or Fan. I don't think you can roll with the 3 and head into camp. I mean, maybe you can, I guess. And then what if Becton lives up to the hype, so he's your tackle? George Fant lives up to the hype, he's your tackle. You have Leggett Tomlinson, you have Elijah Vera-Tucker, you have Connor McGovern. Where the hell is Ickey playing? I don't know. Did you draft 4th overall, essentially, which would be the value, a 6th man on a basketball team? Like, I think what I will say to this is this, to Connor Hughes' point, who mentioned it on the NFL Stock Exchange podcast, is that he believes the Jets will be taking an offensive tackle within the first 3 rounds. I believe that's true because if you think about it right now, the current break the glass emergency behind Becton and Fant is no longer Morgan Moses. It's Chuma Edoga and Connor McDermott. Bleh. Gross. That's disgusting. So if you draft the guy in the first 3 rounds, that is your new guy who's ready to go. And not only is he ready to go as an option to step in if necessary for the future, but he's your emergency Morgan Moses guy. If Becton flops or George Fant gets hurt, then boom, this guy could come off the bench, and you're not going to Edoga. You're not going to McDermott. But again, here's a complicated thing. Is Becton going to be what we all think he is? I don't know. I hope so. I've seen the workout videos. Those sound great. But I just don't know. You have to see. It's hard to believe until you see it. It's like Santa. I need to see his fat ass come down the chimney before I believe it's Christmas. So is Mekhi Becton going to come down the chimney? I don't know. We won't know till OTAs, but I will tell you this. This is a date to line up for all of you. When the Jets report for OTAs in April, which is coming up here quickly, the Jets are going to tell Becton to step on the scale. If he steps on the scale and they like what they see, they're going to just do what they're going to do, and Ickey's probably off the board. However, if he steps on the scale and it doesn't look good, the Jets are going to go like, shit. Maybe we are looking into Charles Cross. Maybe we are looking into Ickey Ekwonu. Maybe we are looking to Evan Neal, and I think the whole conversation changes. So ultimately, we will see what happens there. And I will say that the big Lebroski, Jordan Davis, is a massive man, a mammoth of a dude. I mean, he is a monster. And J-Mac, that's the point. It's hard to trust Becton staying healthy at that size. Again, I want to. He was the number 11 overall pick. I hope he's the franchise left tackle we've all been begging for, but it's just tough. It's just tough. And I would disagree with that, Jeffrey, on Becton doesn't really have value right now. Now, the value isn't great. It's not the 11th overall pick value, but I still think you could get a top 40 pick for him, to be honest. Someone's going to believe. Of course, how could you not? The traits, the glimpses on tape. Someone would give up a top 40 pick for Becton, and that's still reasonable value, because if you get Ickey, then you have another top 40 pick in your back pocket, and then all of a sudden you have 5 picks in top 40. So it's possible, but we will have to see what's happening. NY Jets fan 4. Hey, Paul, are you joining Jets Talk 24/7? The guys on draft night. There is one. I think it's on day 2 of the draft. I think I agreed to join Green Bean and Matt O'Leary for some draft bit. But hey, reach on out to Jets Talk 24/7 and ask them. I've never been on their panel. I'm big fans of theirs, of course. So just let me know. Jet fans, go over there and tweet at them. Say, hey, we want Boy Green on. And then they could get to me. Their people can talk to my people. But right now, I do not have anything planned. The only thing I have planned is day 2. I promised Green Bean and Matt O'Leary I would join their show for a bit. But we will see. So let me know, people. Do your magic. Dark Soldier, welcome to the channel. Welcome, my friend. Keep it simple. Boy Green, can we hear your take on the Chris Sims wide receiver rankings? Keep it simple. I try to be as aware and possible of everything that's going on. I have not seen the Chris Sims wide receiver rankings. So you guys will have to, you can get my raw reaction. You can YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter me those rankings, and I will react to them live. I have not seen them. Yet. Let's see. Caden Smith, thoughts on drafting George Karlaftis if Walker, Hudson, Thibodeau go the first 3 picks? Absolutely not, Caden. I am not a George Karlaftis guy. I've read the water polo stories and all that. To me, he doesn't have any juice. For me, I want guys who have some juice, some sizzle, some bendy. A little Gumby. I don't know if this was Gumby, but I want some Gumby action, some ability to bend around the corner. And George Karlaftis, quite frankly, has 0 of that from what I've seen. Again, Karlaftis is a good player. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think he's going to be a high-floor player, but a high-floor player, the ceiling to me is questionable. I don't know what the ceiling is, so that would be disgusting if they went that. And also, I would have a problem, and this is probably a stupid take, but I'll just share it because this is the show. I have a problem with your 4th overall pick, you taking the 4th best edge. Like, I don't like that at all. What fourth best edge? Like, get first at something else then. Get Ike Ekwonu first. Get Sauce Gardner first. Any of your pick of the litter. Like, why am I getting the fourth best guy, essentially, according to the ratings, if that was the case? So I would not be a fan of that in any manner. Again, I do not like Trayvon Walker and George Karlaftis. Sorry, dude. I just, no, thank you. All right, let's go to Big Daddy. Would you be on board if the Eagles offered 16-19 for a 4? That way we could take an edge at 10, Johnson, wide receiver at 15, Williams at Burks, and Linderbaum at 19. I don't have the draft value chart in front of me, but 16-19, I don't know if that sounds good enough for 4. I think I need, maybe I'm just being a jerky general manager, but I still don't, I don't know. It made me think, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's enough. Quite frankly, it would have to depend, I guess. Let's see. Where am I picking Karlaftis? I think he's an end of round 1, early round 2 guy. I don't top 10 pick. I never bought it. I still don't buy it. So no. No, I'm not a fan of that. So end of round 1, early round 2. JJ, if we took Jameson Williams at 10, should we draft another wide receiver soon after, with it being likely he would miss the start of the season? 1,000%. Mentioned this earlier. Again, if you take like a guy like Jameson Williams, from reports, he should be ready by training camp. But if somehow he wasn't ready for the season, again, you're playing long-term anyway, I would take a receiver in the mid-rounds to fill that hole. Obviously, you also got to get depth. I'd re-sign Keelan Cole. I checked the rest of the wide receiver market to bring in some more chutzpah to have some depth, but 1,000%. That's a great play. That's a great play. Jeffrey saying, I want Burks. I like Traylon Burks too. I think he's a really talented player. Let's see. Richie B, John Mechie, a forgotten player, possible steal at 69. It will be a redshirt year, so maybe 69 is too rich. Maybe he could wait to the 4th round instead of the 3rd, but he is a forgotten man with the injuries. No question about it. He is a forgotten man. I really like John Mechie in the mid-rounds. Let's see. Keep it simple, RC. Talked about it on my channel. Let Fant and Becton fight it out, trade the loser next season. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be this season because Fant is on an expiring contract, but next season, this season, I get what you're saying. Yeah, and hopefully the market's there at the end of the offseason. That's the other thing. What if one of them gets injured? I guess your situation's figured out, but then you kind of have a dying asset in theory, which would be interesting. Let's see. John Hepburn, hey, Paul, what's happening, John? Welcome to the channel. Makai Santa Becton came down that chimney with that gift sack. That's for sure. We'll see what's in that gift sack. Hopefully health would be nice. Dark Shoulder, I think we go. I love Sauce so much. And by the way, there's a new report out from Ralph Facciano, which again, I love mixing in the comments with the stuff I was going to talk about anyway. The Jets and Giants have major interest in Sauce. And here's my fear, boys. For any of you Sauce fans out there, I think with the Giants lurking, especially they're going to trade James Bradbury. That's not if, that's when. They're taking Sauce at 5 or 7, and probably 7 because they could get their offensive lineman at 5 because the Panthers are probably going offensive tackle at 6. So you can cock block them by getting whoever you want and then come back with Sauce at 7 because no one's taking Sauce before 7 outside of the Jets. And boy, it's such a dicky scenario because both the Jets and Giants are interested. They've scheduled a pre-draft facility visit with Sauce. They spoke to him at his pro day. If the Jets want Sauce, they can't wait. They have to take him at 4, which makes things super difficult. And, man, I hope it's not one of those scenarios where you pass on a guy and then you literally see him in your same stadium for a blue uniform. Oh, I would never forgive myself if I see Sauce in Giants uniform, like, lighting up the world. I think he's going to be a superstar. But that'd be gross. But I think you got to take him at 4. Okay, let's see. Jeffrey, I think we trade out of 4 if no Tibbs or Hutch. Again, it takes 2 to tango, so I think that's important. Everyone wants a trade, but you need 2 to tango there. Let's see. Hawk, that's a good point. Becton is 22 years old. There are literally players being drafted this year that are older than him, like Jermaine Johnson, for instance. Be patient with Becton. I think patience is key, too. I think you have to be. Let's see. I hear Pittsburgh wants Malik. If they want Malik, come calling up, baby. We have the number 10th overall pick, and it is for sale. So feel free. Let's keep rolling here. Dark Soldier, Becton will be a beast. Write it down. He'll come back and be a beast. I like it, Dark Soldier. I like the positivity. Let's see. What other final questions here? Yes, Matthias. Yes, anytime you agree with me is good. I'm always right. So yeah, I don't see the Jets taking Karlaftis. Yes. Oh, so that's part of the Chris Sims wide receiver rank because he has Christian Watson as number 2 and the Jameson Williams at number 1. So the number 1 Jameson Williams, while it sounds crazy to everyone now, he would have been arguably the number 1 wide receiver pre-injury. So that maybe sound crazy, but it's not that crazy. The Christian Watson one is wild. He's got a rawness to his game, level of competition. There's a lot of question marks there. Size, traits, those all check off the bucket list, but competition and a certain level of rawness there are major question marks. So, and there's other kind of intricacies to his game. We could bring on a draft analyst to talk about and give you guys more nitty-gritty details, but that's pretty wild. So the Jameson one, I'm like, okay, but Sim, like the Watson one's crazy. But Sims, for quarterbacks that way, he was number 1 on Zach Wilson. Let's see. Everyone wants to trade Becton. Jeffrey, what are we getting for Becton if he's traded next to nothing? I would say a top 40 pick. I think someone would be willing to do it. Bengals were the sexy pick at around 1, but they figured out their tackle situation. So I disagree on that notion. But his value isn't great. Like again, if his value is good, then you keep him. You would never trade him. So it's kind of a hard situation to talk about. Dark Soldier. Paul, JD used the analogy that sapped winds and speed burst pipes. I love that. Does that mean he would go after the fastest wide receiver opposed to the ones that offer talent outside of speed? No, it's hard to really nitpick kind of things he says because Joe Douglas is as tight-lipped as they come. But the thing I would say is based off his actions. So to me, I think the 2 receivers that make the absolute most sense are Jameson Williams or Drake London. Drake London is that above the rim, massive dude who contested catches, which obviously the Jets need. I think those are going to be one of the 2 picks if they don't trade for a wide receiver, as we talked about before. I believe that is it. I believe that's where they'll go. Okay, let's see. See a lot of you guys talking to each other here. Yeah, again, I'm seeing. So this doesn't. I don't see the actual thumb number because I'm in StreamYard here. But people, I see there's like 60 something people in here right now. If there's only 42 likes, I mean everyone who's watching isn't hitting the thumbs up. People, take the few seconds it takes to hit that thumbs up button and make sure you do. Hop on over to youtube.com, hit the thumbs up button, and hit subscribe. We were at, before we started this show, 2.2. Or 1.2, excuse me, 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to 2K by the draft. We got 30 days. 30 days from today is the draft. So let's try to get there, baby. So show your support, tell a friend, and try to get those subscribers up, baby. Let's go. And I'd love to do some giveaways and things. Those could be happening for our loyal subscribers. I got some autographed Jets memorabilia that I'm dying to give away, but the only way I could give it away is more subscriptions, more love, more likes on the video. So keep that in mind, people. And I am a giver. Okay, let's try to get some final comments in here before we move out of here. Try to see if I'm missing anything. Okay, Hawk. Okay, because again, I had not seen them. I will look at them, look them up after. Sims doesn't have Garrett Wilson as top 5. I think that's a major controversy. I'll tell you, a couple weeks ago on our Mock Draft Monday series, Justin Mello, who works for the Draft Network, a great guy, he's known as the interviewer. He had Garrett Wilson to the Jets in the 2nd round, and I went, what? I'm like, I would take it, but that seems unrealistic. So maybe him and Chris Sims drink at the same party, drink at the same bar and talk. I don't know. That's that's wild. Okay, that makes sense with the controversy. There you go. I love people using my vernacular. Okay, show some chutzpah. Okay, some chutzpah. And hit that thumbs up button, baby, and hit that subscribe, which would be great. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for the show today. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us here again. Every single week, we do what's called the Jet Zone right here on Sports World Radio. It's on my Twitter account, my Facebook account, and YouTube account. And guys, make sure you go over to YouTube and hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. We've got a phenomenal guest coming up. I'm supposed to be recording later this week for our Mock Draft Monday series, which should be a lot of fun. And it's been a lot of fun. You guys can check out all of those past interviews. They're still relevant. We've had Damian Woody. How did I forget him? Damian Woody, Connor Hughes, Connor Rogers, Trevor Sikkema. Again, the Leger Douzable. So many names, superstar names, people. So make sure you guys show your support for the channel and check out all those past videos. They are fantastic. And like I said, the latest one from this week is Leger Douzable, who's absolutely fantastic. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you later this week for some more Jets love. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.